Okay, so today we are going to look at angles in triangles and quadrilaterals. So you probably remember from primary school that if we take a triangle, any triangle at all, we have angles A, B and C, you know that A plus B plus C equals 180 degrees. So angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. I'm going to write that in our books and I'm going to write a title for you as well. So your title is Angles in Triangles and Quadrilaterals. And we're going to write down a triangle is a three-sided shape whose angles add to 180 degrees. So that is the key information about a triangle. A triangle is a three-sided shape whose angles add to 180 degrees. And I would like you to draw this diagram to go with it. If I go too fast at any point, just pause the video, write down what's on the screen and then jump to the next bit. So A plus B plus C is 180 degrees, where A, B and C are the angles in any triangle. A quadrilateral is a four-sided shape. So let's write that down. A quadrilateral is a four-sided shape. Some quadrilaterals are and I'd like you to pause the video now and have a think about what quadrilaterals you already know. So these are the quadrilaterals I came up with. You know a square, rectangle, parallelogram, rhombus, trapezium, kite. You might have come up with more, but any four-sided shape is a quadrilateral. If we take any quadrilateral, so this is an irregular quadrilateral, it's not any of the shapes on the list. It's not a square, a rectangle, a parallelogram or a rhombus, obviously. It looks a bit like a trapezium, but a trapezium has to have two parallel lines, and this has no parallel lines, so it's not a trapezium either. And it's not a kite, clearly. So this is just an irregular quadrilateral. And if we take any quadrilateral, so any shape with four sides, we can split it into two triangles. The angles in this triangle would add up to 180. So that would be 180. And the angles in this triangle would add up to 180. So if we added them all together, so we've got this angle, this entire angle in the quadrilateral, this angle and this entire angle in the quadrilateral, we'd get 180 plus 180. So the angles in the quadrilateral would add up to 360. So we've got 180 in here, we've got 180 in here, and for the quadrilateral, we would have this angle, this angle, this angle, and this angle. So it would be these three angles plus these three angles, so 360. So that's another piece of key information that we're going to write down. So angles in a quadrilateral add to 360 degrees. And if we draw a diagram, and we can label the angles A, B, C and D, then A plus B plus C plus D is 360 degrees. So get that written in your books, please. So in this key bit of information, the angles we're adding up are the interior angles. So we're going to write that down as well. These are the interior angles. So these are the interior angles of the quadrilateral. And now we're going to do an example of how to use that information. So in this example, we want to find angle A because that is missing. We've got 75 degrees here, we've got 127 degrees here, and then this angle, represented by a square, must be 90 degrees. So how do we find angle A? We know these angles have to add up to 360. So angle A must be 360 minus the other three angles. So we're going to subtract 75, we're going to subtract 127, and we're going to subtract 90. And if we do that, we end up with 68 degrees. So A is 68 degrees. So before we did that example, I told you that these angles inside of the shape are called the interior angles of the quadrilateral. In fact, the angles inside a shape are the interior angles, whatever the shape is. So triangles can have interior angles, pentagons can have interior angles. They all have interior angles. Shapes also have exterior angles, and that's what we're going to do next. So for exterior angles, I'm going to write that up here. Exterior angles. If we take this triangle, the interior angles are the angles on the inside. So they are the interior angles. The way that we find exterior angles is at each point, extend one of the sides out. So I'm going to extend this bottom side out like this. I'm going to extend this side out like this. And I'm going to extend this side out like this. Now if we have a look where I've extended these sides, there will always be a side to this line that makes 180 degrees because we've just extended a straight line. So there is going to be 180 degrees. If I extend this side into a straight line, that's going to be 180 degrees. And where I've extended this side into a straight line, this is going to be 180 degrees. We don't care about the side that makes 180 degrees. What we care about is the side that lies on a straight line with the interior angle. So this is the interior angle, and then if I extend that side to make a straight line, this is the exterior angle at this point on the triangle. Here, this is not the exterior angle, this is a straight line, so it's 180. This is the exterior angle at this point on the triangle. And finally here, we've got this side extending with a straight line. So this is 180. This is the exterior angle. So we find the exterior angle by extending one of the sides, and the exterior angle is the angle that is made by extending that side and the other side. So I extend this side and I find the angle that makes with the other side at that point. I don't care about the angle that it makes with the line I've extended because that will always be 180 degrees. So extend one of the lines and find the angle that makes with the other side at that point. That is your exterior angle. If we knew what any of these interior angles were, we would be able to find the exterior angle at the same point. So if this interior angle, for example, was 60 degrees, then the exterior angle adds up to 180 because it lies on a straight line. So this would be 120 degrees. So we're just going to write down a key bit of information about exterior angles. So we can find the exterior angles of a shape by extending one side of the shape at each corner. So we can find the exterior angles of a shape by extending one side of the shape at each corner. And that's exactly what we did here. At each corner, we extended one side of the shape. At this corner, we extended one side of the shape. At this corner, we extended one side of the shape. A key thing to note is that if a triangle has interior angles A, B, and C, the exterior angle at interior angle C will be equal to the other two angles added together. So this angle here will be the other two angles added together. This angle here will be the other two interior angles added together. Pause the video for a moment and have a think about why that might be. Okay, so why is the exterior angle at a point equal to the two other interior angles? It's because inside a triangle, the angles add up to 180. So A plus B plus C equals 180 degrees. But also angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. So this angle C plus this green angle must equal 180. But we know that to get to 180, we have to add C to A plus B because of angles in a triangle. So if C is the angle here, the remaining bit must be A plus B to get to 180 on a straight line, because it was A plus B to get to 180 in a triangle. So we're going to write that down as well. So we're going to write down the exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of the two opposite interior angles. And we're going to draw a diagram just to represent that. So if we've got B and C here, then this exterior angle will be B plus C. So make sure you've got that written in your books. I'm going to move on now, so pause the video to write it down if you need more time. So if I had a question like this and I wanted to find angle X, X is the exterior angle here. What I could do is I could find this missing angle by adding these two and then knowing that triangles have angles that add up to 180. And then I could take this away from 180 because it lies on a straight line with X. However, that is extra work that I don't need to do because based on what we just said, this angle X is equal to the sum of the two opposite interior angles. So X is simply equal to 52 plus 44. So X is going to be 96 degrees. Okay, that is the end of what I'm going to go through, and that should be enough for you to have a go at the question sheet that I've put up. If you get stuck on a question, please comment on Show My Homework and I will give you some hints, and then if you still can't do it, I will put a video up of how to do it. So have a go at all the questions on the question sheet.